Winnie. Today I'll be talking about how to solve this percent problem. I will first read it for you. Patti takes 200 flowers to her middle school to sell on Valentine's Day. She first sells 30% of the flowers to 6th grade students. She then sells 40% of the remaining flowers to 7th grade students. Finally, she sells 50% of the remaining flowers to 8th grade students. How many flowers does she have left? You can pause this video to think about it. For this problem, we want to keep track on how much flowers she sells every day and keep track on how much flowers she has left. So for the first part, or for the 6th grade students, she sold 30% of the flowers. At the beginning, we have 200 flowers, and she's selling 30% of them. From now, we want to change 30% into a fractional form, so it's easier to solve. Every percent is out of 100, so 30% is just 30 over 100. We see that there's a common factor of 10, so we can cancel those out. 10 goes into 30 3 times, and 10 goes into 100 10 times, giving us 3 over 10. So this is just 200 times 3 over 10 for the 6th grade. And now we can solve this. We see that there's a common factor of 10, so we can cancel those out. 10 goes in 10 once, and 10 goes in 200 20 times. 20 times 3 equals 60. So that means that she has sold 60 flowers for the 6th grade students. Now we want to find how much flowers does she have left. Since she started with 200 flowers and sold 60, that means we have to subtract, and this equals 140 flowers left. So for the 6th grade students, she has 140 flowers left. And now for the 7th grade students, she sells 40% of the remaining flowers. The amount of remaining flowers we have is 140. So we want to multiply 140 times 40%. Of course, we can change 40% into a fractional form, which is 40 over 100. There's a common factor of 10, so 40 goes into 4, and 100 turns into 10. Since 4 and 10 are both even, there's a common factor of 2. 4 turns into 2, and 10 turns into 5, giving us 2 over 5 as the simplest form. So for 7th graders, it is just 140 times 2 over 5. 140 and 5 have a common factor of 5, so we can cancel those out. Giving us to 28 for 140 and 1 for 5. 28 times 2 equals 56 flowers. So that means out of 140 flowers, she sold 56. So now we can subtract to see how much flowers she has left. 140 minus 56. And we can quickly calculate this. Giving us 84 flowers left. And now we can move on to 8th graders, our last student. She sold 50% of the remaining flowers, or 50 times 84. So 84 times 50%. Well, we know 50% is out of 100%, or 1/2. So we can just write 84 times 1/2. So essentially, we're just trying to find 1/2 of 84, which we can cancel out common factors, giving us 42 flowers. So she sold 42 flowers, and she has 84 flowers after the 7th graders. So we just subtract 84 minus 42, which equals 42 flowers left. And that is our answer for this problem. Of course, for these type of problems, there are many methods to solve this. However, I will just show you another method that's more easier. So for this second method, we want to find what percent of flowers she keeps after every round of students. So starting with the 6th grade students, since she sells 30% of the flowers, that means that she keeps 70% of the flowers. And for now, I will just use of as multiply. And now for the second round, or the 7th grade students, she sells 40% of the remaining flowers. That means that she keeps 60% of the amount of flowers. Of 60%. And for the last round, since she sells 50% of the flowers, that means that she keeps 50%. And all of these percents are out of the beginning number of flowers, or 200. And now we can rewrite this part by replacing the percent into a fraction and replacing the ofs into a multiplication sign. 70% is 7 over 10 times 60%, which is 6 over 10. However, we want to simplify, giving us 3 over 5. And 50% is just 1/2. And these fractions are all being multiplied to 200. And now let's cancel out all the common factors to make this easier. 2 and 200 have a common factor of 2. So 2 goes in 2 once, and 2 goes in 200 100 times. 105 have a common factor of 5, so can cancel those out. 5 goes into 5 once, and 5 goes into 120 times. And lastly, 20 and 10 have a common factor of 10, so 10 goes in 10 once, and 10 goes into 20 twice. And now we can just multiply all the numerators out, which is 7 times 3 times 2. And 7 times 3 is 21, and 21 times 2 equals 42 as our final answer. So for both methods, we end up with 42 flowers left. And this is for today's video. If you like this video, you can like, subscribe, and follow for more. Thank you for watching.